Long arm freak, I am your progeny.
Yes, and I had you to be a long arm freak so you get stuff off the top shelf for your mom. So, hey,
Hey, God, they're watching, aren't they?
you long arm freak, you hit something. Well, there's nobody watching yet, so
Right.
only the people who tune in late and rewatch and all that jazz. So, anyway, I'm here spending time yakking like I always do while Alan hits his buttons and shares us out to the interwebs.
Some of us like buttons.
Yeah, and I just like talking, so I'll just be talking.
He does like to talk.
We're going to be doing a review for you of some commons and uncommons that we like out of the new Zendikar Rising. So if you get you a pre-release kit and play it at home, we're going to recognize some potential strategies that you could play. And those will carry through to your drafts. They'll carry through to just even constructed, some of them. Some will be better in limited than they would be in constructed, but we'll be doing some of that. We're going to talk about a few other odds and ends here, but primarily it's a Zendikar Rising week is what we're talking about. So, anyway, this is just me filling time.
Yeah, I'm just punching the buttons. I'm trying to do it a little bit slower.
We usually let, 5 or 10 people get in there before we get started, so I see a few people arriving. So, I don't know if I'm using enough Southern twang yet.
Our Southern nerds.
Our Southern nerd twang.
That's what we are told.
So anyway,
yeah, I'm just about.
As soon as Alan gets his buttons hit, I'll do some kind of opening here. I got a new name for everybody.
Oh.
Yeah, I got tired of the guildies and guildettes. So.
Oh well.
Now I've got one name for everybody.
Oh.
We'll see how that works.
I am just about done here.
He's just about done. Well, we're going to get rolling then, because we've been rolling a couple minutes for the intro, and
there we go.
We got some people.
That should be everybody.
So welcome back, Gildikins.
I like it.
Gildikins. Al and I have returned with another Slam Bang episode for your enjoyment. We're going to give you the rundown on all the latest and get you ready for Zendikar Rising, which does pre-release this weekend, and then launches next weekend. We're going to be talking a little bit more about that in a minute.
Making sure I didn't miss anybody here and going back over.
So much like in the past, Zendikar, the only things that are coming out this weekend are the pre-release kits and the draft boosters.
Yes.
So we had originally planned on doing a set booster break, but I got my timing mixed up. It's all on me. Take full responsibility. I don't have set boosters that I can bust this week. So there is not a box break, but we do have a special
surprise
April Fool's thing. Some of you will know what that is. Some of you already been out on the World Wide Web and know what we're going to be opening. It's a special April thing. So anyway, we'll be doing that at the end. So we're just going to move right into. We had some Commander earlier, and like we said, this week is about Zendikar Rising. So I want to talk real frankly for just a minute. So while I am not normally a proponent of one size fits all for anything, I understand when it's done. For us here in Mountain Grove, we're and whatnot, we could safely, and again, there's going to be debates on that, legally and all that, have a pre-release event. But Wizards has shut down sanctioned play, and even non-sanctioned, casual play, if you will, is not allowed with pre-release kits until the release of the product. So therefore, I cannot have the pre-release event that I had been planning to have, even though I had it planned to be just no prizes and all that. So people can pick up their pre-release kits tomorrow. They can either stay and play. They'll still be entered in the drawing for the prizes, for the door prizes. And I believe that maybe some of the players are going to stick around. Somebody maybe gets in chat. I don't know. Sky was talking about maybe organizing some of them together.
Yep.
It will have to be that way. I can't organize. I can't run. I can't have a hand in it. So when I open up at noon tomorrow, you can pick up a pre-release kit if you want to take it home. You can take it home. If you want to hang around and try to catch some other people, normally Fridays and Saturday nights is when people show up, 6, 7 o'clock. You want to come back and play. It's just up to you. The only prizes that will be the ones that are the door prizes, and whether you play here or at home,
Right.
still eligible. I'll just keep your prize for you here. I'll contact you via Facebook and let you know. There'll be no win a round, win a pack like normal, is what I'm saying.
Right.
Now the first, so everybody that gets a kit's going to get 2 packs, okay?
Yes.
And then the first 30 people who get kits are going to get a set booster pack so that you can sample those out. And that is, I am going to limit that 1 per person, even if you buy multiple kits, because I want as many people. Those are limited. I am allowed to do that. Limit those 1 per player, okay? Not 1 per kit. So, and I've only got 30 of those. And then that's done. But I will have the pre-release kits until I'm sold out.
Yep.
Both days. And if people want to hang out and play, they're allowed to play.
There are tables here.
There's tables here. I'm legally allowed to have people in the store, so you can play in the store. So,
My suggestion, if you all do want to, since we're not allowed to do anything, the MTG Companion app is out there now and is probably the easiest way. If some of you guys sit back there in the corner and you want to play,
if you want to get a
pop
group
on the
together
app.
of 8 people or whatever, I mean, you're allowed to do that. If you
it'll
just
do
wanna
all the pairings for you.
play round robin, whatever you want to do. The store will be here for you to do that in. So anyway, that's what's going on with the pre-release. It is a $30 entry, like I do with all of them, because again, I'm trying to standardize this. That's $27.50. The rest of it's tax. Before they did away with MSRP, WotC had a $25 or $26.99 MSRP, and I throw in a lot of door prizes. So this time I have some John Avon that I kickstarted, the tapped unstable lands.
They're gorgeous.
I put some picture up on the Facebook.
They are gorgeous.
Those are going to be some of the things available, along with dice, sleeves, deck boxes, just whatever I can find. And really, it depends on how many kits I sell, how many things I put in the prize pool. So I can't tell you everything. If I don't sell all my kits, I'll put less stuff in it, you know. So I do endeavor to pay out in prizes to make up if you think I'm gouging you because other people are doing $20 at-home pre-releases. I'm not going to do that, because this is one of the ways that I can make money at the store. And if I just sell them to you for $20, I pay almost $15 a piece for them. I ain't going to do that. I'll just quit doing them if that's what I have to do. The places that can do that, congrats. I need to make more than $5 per kit. I'm just going to tell you the numbers. So if you got a place selling them to you for $20, you should jump all over it, I guess. Anyway, that's what we got going on this weekend. I think I've got that explained out.
Yep, I think you nailed that pretty
Everybody
well.
understands that? All right. Did you see about Kaladesh Remastered?
All about that when you went there, and I went and did a little research, and by the end of this year, they're expecting we're going to see Kaladesh Remastered. I would expect it's going to be it's going to be like Amonkhet Remastered. They're going to take the 2 sets. They're going to take most of the best cards. I know there's 2 or 3 cards. That some
This
people,
is for Arena.
This is for Arena,
Paper
guys.
players,
Right.
snooze it out.
Yeah. So they're probably going to add in some extra cards as well, like they did with Amonkhet Remastered. I would assume they're going to sprinkle in this and that from Pioneer stuff of past to try to get it in there sooner.
We assume.
Then also, we've been talking about it for a while, Pioneer Masters is going to be coming in 2021.
They're bumping it for the Kaladesh Remastered.
I never expected to see Pioneer Masters this year, to be honest. They said it, but I didn't expect it. So I think 2021 and a Kaladesh Remastered will be a good thing to help get them that way. It'll make Historic bigger and get them closer to Pioneer.
A couple things I want to bring up, and I can't remember again. Developed. If you ever watch Gavin Verhey's Good Morning Magic, he did one of the mini games. I think it was last week. So there's Magic mini games. These are coming in the set boosters. So a little additional value, if you will. So these will be on an ad card. or back of a token, or maybe a separate card. I'm not sure, because some of them take 2 cards to show off. Maybe all of them take. No, not all of them. So anyway, it's another little game you can play with your Magic cards. So you know the value you can out of busting a pack. So this is a way when you bust a set booster pack, because they're not made to really mini master with.
No.
So with them, you can do these different things. And so I'll share that out, but there's several little games that you can play in there. One of the neatest ones, and I think this is maybe the one they did on stream, was Strictly Better, I think is the one they did. So we'll do this as an example, but I think there's 4 of these. So you need 3 to 6 players and 3 to 6 packs.
Okay.
Some cards are strong and standard, others shine in draft, but which cards look the tastiest? Take turns being the judge and decide which Magic cards in the best of the best in each wacky category. This is a little bit like Apples to Apples, Cards Against Humanity, whatever.
Very similar, but with Magic cards.
Randomly determine who will be the first judge. Each player then opens a pack, removes any cards without Magic card backs, and looks at their cards.
Okay.
The judge chooses a category from the list on the back of this card, and there's a list of 34 things.
Yep.
They can either do their favorite or at random. The other players each secretly submit a card from their pack that they think fits the category. When the judge has collected all the cards, they reveal each card, read it aloud, then choose the winner. The judge roll then passes to the next player, and they select a different category. So let's read some of the categories. Why don't you read some of those off?
We're going to start with something simple.
First 1 to 3 wins.
All right, we got simple stuff like best vacation spot, first pick and draft. You know, those are, but then we have stuff where they get a little bit weirder. We got most dangerous job.
The next fad diet.
The next fad diet. Last picked in dodgeball.
Most likely to steal your date.
Best mystery novel title. Some of these are really interesting.
Tastiest. Hottest. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's 34 of these. So anyway, there's 4 of these little games. So something to be aware of when you get your set boosters. Maybe you try that out. Sounds like it might be a hoot for some of us, and some of us may have a stick in the wrong place.
Right. Goblin always wins. That's just the rule.
So yeah, there, like I said, there's 4 of these. There's one called
Royale.
Royale, yeah. So because you're on Zendikar, you know.
Yeah. There was another one called Strictly. Oh, no, that was.
No, that's the one. Booster Sleuth. Booster Sleuth is another one, and then there's Booster Blitz. So you can play a Booster Blitz, which is very similar. It's not like we played some Pi Gal, but of course they're not going to call it Pi Gal because it's Magic.
Right.
You make four mini decks of 3 cards each out of your 12 Magic backed cards, and then play in the first one to win 2 out of the 4 wins the set. And then Base Race is the other one. So there's several little games you can play. I just thought it was a neat thing that you could do. Thought we'd share it with you. I'll share that out if I've missed it somehow.
I'm glad that they're doing a lot more stuff like this, experiment with little fun stuff like that. I mean, Jumpstart was obviously absolute experiment, and stuff like this is.
Yeah, I always advocate that you get the most out of opening your packs instead of just ripping them open, sorting, right?
Right.
As a store, that's what I do. I rip open and I sort, you know.
Right.
But being able to mini master or to booster blitz or one of these other games is a neat way. Sealed deck with your friends, draft with a friend. You can do Winchester or there's just a bunch of ways that you can play with your packs so that you get them open and still works.
Wizards Towers and all
kinds of things. Yeah. So we're going to get on to what we call our limited set review.
Yeah.
This is where we're really aiming at newer players and people who don't play a lot of limited, sealed, or draft. And we're trying to point you in the direction that this set is trying to tell you where to go. So we're nothing like limited resources.
Yeah, we are not LSV and Marshall.
No. If you want to know competitive play, don't listen to us.
Right.
We're going to try to show you how you can catch some of the fun that you might miss otherwise, or strategies that you might overlook if you're new or a casual player and you're just looking to have a good time at a pre-release or a draft or something, or playing with your friends at home even. So one thing we're going to go over real quick is that
party is a big thing, guys.
Party's a big thing.
Party includes a cleric, a rogue, a warrior, and a wizard. One of each.
That's a full party.
That's a full party to make a full party. I just wanted to hit that, make sure everybody's good on that before we get into...
And lots of these cards you have.
You get a bonus depending on how many members your party is.
Cost reduction, you get an additional effect, you gain more lives, whatever. Scales with how many you have. So, one of the things you ought to know is that each color... So, they divided these 4 things amongst 4 of the colors, leaving one color out. It's green. It's always going to be green. So, they leave green out. So, somebody is primary, secondary, and tertiary, and then one they don't get.
Right.
So, for example, white gets cleric primary, warrior is secondary, and wizard as tertiary, but they have no rogues in white.
Right.
Okay? Blue has wizards,
Yep.
rogues, cleric, and then no warriors.
Yep.
Black has rogues, clerics, but no wizards. And then red gets warriors, wizards, and rogues, but no clerics. And then green is tertiary, so it gets a little bit of everything.
Yeah, it
also has 2 of the 3 critters that will be anything. They qualify for any slot.
Yes.
So if you're looking to create a full party, you have to go 2 colors.
Yes.
It's impossible to do it.
Impossible to do it in, I guess in green. It would be possible to do it in
green and an artifact. There is an artifact that can be any.
Right.
Artifact.
Well, I mean, just green has some of all of them, so you could in green, but it's going to be hard.
Yeah. There's not near as many. So just think about that if you're playing the party thing.
Right.
If you're building a party deck, think about those things as you're building it, okay?
Yes.
There's also sub-themes built within color combinations.
Yeah.
So there's a wizard's theme for blue and red.
Yeah.
There's a warrior's theme for red and...
red and white, right?
Uh,
Red and white. Boros, I believe, for warriors.
I think so.
Clerics are in black and white.
Black and white, and then rogues
are in blue and black.
Blue and black, yes. Again, green gets left out.
Those are the... This helps with the weird way we got 6 of the modal double-faced lands for this set. 4 of those are those to represent those synergies of rogues, warriors, and then the other 2, because green had none of them, they decided to give green 2 to compensate.
That's probably basically correct. Yes.
That's what I've read is what happened.
Green doesn't get to do anything well; it just kind of stumbles along with its own thing.
Green's been the most powerful color in Magic for the last couple of years.
They got quite a bit of kicker, so I think you might make a pretty nice blue and green kicker deck.
Ooh, who doesn't like to kick?
So you do have that. So there's tons of synergies, guys. If you get the party mechanic, we just told you about the tribal theme. I just mentioned kicker, so there's kicker, and so landfall also a thing.
Landfall seems to be centered if you're looking for very heavy in green red. The Gruul colors are very heavy into the landfall, it seems.
Yes.
Everybody has
always.
Everybody has some landfall. White has more landfall than they've ever had in another trip to Zendikar, it looks like, but Gruul is still the focus there.
All right, so we're going to start off on white commons.
Yep.
And then we're going to work our way through Wooburg order, okay?
Right.
And then we'll go to uncommons.
We're going to start with what we always tell you guys is the most important part of Limited. Removal.
Removal.
You see removal, especially draft, but you're like, you see removal, you need it.
Yeah, if you're building your sealed deck and you're looking at playing colors that have no removal versus playing colors that do, you should probably
play the ones that
favor the ones that do, all right? So in white, your removal that you're going to be looking at, to start with, you got white commons pulled up.
I got white commons pulled up.
Okay. So Nahiri's Binding. All right, this is your O-ring style thing. It's 2 white and 1. It's an aura, enchant creature, or planeswalker. Enchanted permanent can't attack or block, and its can't be activated.
Which is incredible. I'm glad they finally put that rider on these things these days.
Yeah, so that's it. Practice Tactics.
I like Practice Tactics. It's a party card. It's 1 white instant. You choose target attacking or blocking creature, and Practice Tactics deals damage to that creature equal to twice the number of creatures in your party. That's not bad. I mean, if you got even 2 party members out, that's 4 damage to something coming at you, which in a limited game,
this is something that white gets in just about every set anymore, is something that does 2 attacking or blocking creatures.
Right.
Is even 4.
Right.
But this could be huge.
This could be huge.
But keep in mind that it does nothing if you have no party members.
Exactly.
It's a dead draw. It's a dead card in your hand. That is a factor.
If you build your deck for party, I think the best way to think about these cards is to, when you're evaluating whether you put it into your deck, is think of party as 2. It's probably, if you've built, probably 2 is not going to be hard. It's the 3 and 4 that will be harder on party.
Yeah,
if you build towards it, I think you can consider it in your mind as 2 and probably be okay most times.
And again, that's an instant.
Yep. 1 white instant.
We get Smite the Monstrous for a white and 3. That's a reprint. It's an instant.
Yep.
Destroy target creature with power 4 or greater, so it takes out their big thing. But if they don't have a big thing,
right,
again, it's going to sit in your hand. So caution there, right?
Yeah, these spells can bite you sometimes.
And then we have to throw in Disenchant, another reprint, but it's maybe a sideboard card. I don't know how many enchantments play. It maybe doesn't go in your main, but if you have one or you can pick one up in a draft, it's not bad to have.
Disenchant's always been
takes out artifacts and enchantments, you know.
Yep.
So that's your removal. So when we look at party cards at common, I thought Shepherd of Heroes is decent.
It's pretty decent.
It's a white and 4 Angel Cleric. It's a 3/4 flyer. And when it enters the battlefield, you gain 2 life for each creature in your party. So you're going to gain 2 life because it's a cleric.
2 life and a 3/4 flyer for 5 mana.
That seems fine.
It seems fine.
Seems fine. For each party member you got past that, it gets just better,
more.
Right?
In a limited game, this is a heck of a blocker or a finisher because it's got flying that comes down and it's going to gain you some life to help stabilize. That's really good.
And then I want you guys to start thinking about landfall in different ways.
Yes.
Not just things that say landfall on them. Think about how am I going to hit those landfall triggers.
Yes.
So Tazim Raptor is a white and 2 for a 2/2 flyer. Now that's just baseline, nothing special.
No.
But when Tazim Raptor enters the battlefield, you may return. May is very important.
Yes, it is.
Because if you're playing at turn 3, you probably don't want to.
Right.
May return a land you control to its owner's hand. But if you draw this like turn 8 or something, you've already played all your lands. You can get yourself another land drop.
Yep.
We're going to be pointing those out a little bit later in some other colors, but you can get yourself another landfall right there by playing that. You draw it later on.
And not just another landfall trigger. Don't forget we have modal double-faced cards in this set that you may have played it as a land because you had it in your hand early. You can now return it to your hand and play the spell on the other side that you now have the mana to cast that can help you in the late game.
Exactly, yes.
Things like this, not just for the landfall, but when you pick that land back up and can turn it into a spell, that's really sweet.
When we get to uncommons, we'll talk about those, but there are none of them at common.
Right.
They all come in at uncommon and higher rarities.
Then we have...
if you're on the cleric train...
Right. If you're on the cleric
black-white...
We have Core Celebrant in white, who's probably our best cleric at this rarity. He's a white and 2, 1/4. And whenever Core Celebrant or another creature enters the battlefield under your control, gain a life. It is literally the opposite of Cruel Celebrant. You know?
Yeah.
Instead of when they die, you know, so.
Every color, I believe, also has one of their classes that cares about having another one. And so I didn't use those because it requires you to have them and another. So,
right.
You know, like the white one, I'm not going to go through all of them. The white one is Expedition Healer, white and 1/2/2 with Vigilance. but it has lifelink as long as you control another cleric. So again, there's some synergy you can build there. If you do come up with a bunch of clerics, then you start building those clerics together. But if you don't have a bunch of clerics, you can't really count on that. Rogues, wizards, they all have one or two cards that do that.
Yeah.
We'll move along to blue, or
move along to blue. Yeah, no, you already had everything that I was trying to put there.
Okay.
We get into blue removal, which blue is always a little weaker on the
Doesn't
removal.
have as good a removal.
They always try to give it something for limited play at least, because you have to have it in limited play. Bubble Snare is towards the top of the list, I'd say here. It's a 1 blue aura. It also has a kicker for a blue and 2. So obviously enchants a creature, and when it enters the battlefield, if it was kicked, tap enchanted creature. And the enchanted creature doesn't untap during its controller's untap step.
So that's 4 mana.
That's 4 mana, but if they attacked with you and then you draw this, 1 mana. It's already tapped. You're good to go.
For 1 mana, you lock it down.
Yeah. For 4 mana, you tap it and lock it down.
Yeah. So they cast it on their turn, and you don't want it to hit you once.
Right.
Spin the kicker. You get it in there.
Kicker, just the options it gives you is just a fantastic mechanic.
And again, we're not talking great stuff here.
No.
Glacial Grasp is a blue and 2. It's an instant. You tap target creature.
Yep.
Its controller mills 2 cards. That creature doesn't untap during its controller's next untap step. There is a mill sub-theme. That's another thing you can shoot for in black is mill.
Rogues.
So there is a ton of synergy. If you get the right cards, you can do so many cool things in this limited format. It's going to be a black.
Really seem to care about milling or what is in your opponent's graveyard and enabling the mill to be able to use that.
In these limited decks, 1 or 2 cards here, 1 or 2 cards there. Oh my gosh, it's going to add up.
Yeah, if you guys remember Eldraine, where we didn't, we never thought much about it, but then merfolks, and you got a lucky clover too, you might mill somebody in a game because that was 4 cards in a shot, and that adds up on a 40-card deck real quick.
Wacky Chaos Draft last weekend.
Yeah, it's such a good card still.
It was pretty good. I think I milled 1 person out. I had 2 of those, and then I had a little guy that discarded a card and tapped him, and they milled 3.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so
that's
I
pretty
had a
good.
few things. Yeah, so so that's kind of it for removal. There's a couple of minus to power or something.
Right, to power them down, but not really.
So I give this card best to party with if you like rogues. It's the best rogue and it's the best party card. This card seems to be doing everything I want blue to do, and I'll tell you why. It's a blue and 2 Seafloor Stalker. It's a 2/3. That's a fine rate in blue.
Yeah.
It's a Merfolk Rogue. For a blue and 4, Seafloor Stalker gets +1/+0 till end of turn and can't be blocked this turn. This ability costs 1 generic mana less to activate for each creature in your party. Now, if you happen to have a party, this thing is going to cost less to activate. It's going to get bigger when you pump it. So 3 unblockable is pretty good. It's also a mana sink.
Yeah.
You don't always think about those things, but it's a mana sink.
I just also want to point out, if you guys are awesome and you got that full party on the board, this doesn't say this ability can only be used once each turn.
Nope.
It becomes unblockable, and it's essentially blue fire breathing if you have a full party.
It does become fire.
So
yes,
don't forget that. I don't know how often you're going to hit the full party.
That's exactly right.
Being a mana sink, you can do it more than once. Pump this thing up. Oh yeah, best kicker card.
Kicker card. This is a reprint. But
and
there's a reason they reprinted it.
And it's not just a reprint. It's got like 3 different cards that do the exact same thing with different names.
I think it's 2, but
okay. Into the Royal. It's a blue and 1 instant kicker of a blue and 1. Return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand.
Should I read a while?
If this spell was kicked, draw a card. I played it back in Dominaria when it was blink of an eye. I'm going to play it now in Zendikar as Into the Royal. It's a wonderful card. It's good, great kicker. And since we're bringing up kicker, I just want to jump to this other thing I wanted to bring up real quick. At common, Risen Riptide is kind of unassuming, but it's a 0/5 elemental for a blue and 2. But whenever you cast a kicked spell, Risen Riptide has base power and toughness 5/5 until end of turn. There's a lot of kicker in blue, guys. You're going to have a 5/5 more often than you think. Things like Into the Royals and instant, all of a sudden you got a 5/5 blocker.
Yeah, as we were talking earlier, it's not bad if on turn 3 you drop this and on turn 4 you hold up for Into the Royal and they swing into it with their biggest thing. You can just block it and bounce another thing and
draw a card.
Draw a card. That's
Seems
not
good.
That's great synergy right there. And then in this one I didn't come up with the best wizard, but there's a Wizard's Matter card that I kind of liked.
Yeah.
And that is Chilling Trap. For a blue, it's an instant. Target creature gets -4/-0 to end of turn. So it's not removal, but it like stops something for a turn.
Y'all remember So Tiny? That card can be annoying.
And if you control a wizard, draw a card. So as long as you control a wizard, it's a cantrip and it gives something -4/-0.
This is the kind of thing blue loves for
it's a tempo play.
Yeah, it's a
there's some wizards here, sure. There's the Cascade Seer, blue and 3. It's 3/3. Murphy. There's the battlefield Scry X, where X is the number of creatures in your party.
Not bad.
That's probably
value.
a decent wizard,
That's
right
just
there.
value.
But again, I picked Chilling Trap for the wizards.
Yeah, I like Chilling Trap, actually. I mean, So Tiny, a lot of play in Eldraine. I think Chilling Trap will see play here.
It basically just stops their biggest thing for the turn. You draw a card, as long as you got a wizard.
Right.
Again, a lot of stuff going on there to think about.
Right.
Black removal.
Black removal.
Let's talk about that a little bit.
You want to talk about that first one? Because I know you're still just loving this card so much.
Feed the Swarm, baby. Black and 1. It is a sorcery.
It is a sorcery.
Destroy target creature. No qualifiers.
No, yeah.
Or enchantment and opponent controls. Those are the qualifiers, but why would you want to do your own thing? You lose life equal to that permanent's converted mana cost.
That's good.
There are a few outside the norm occurrences where this isn't going to be the case, but how much damage is that thing going to do to you if you don't do this?
Yep.
So if you're afraid to kill that 3/3 that they spent 4 mana to cast, and it hits you twice, you've already taken more damage from it than if you just destroyed it.
Yep. This card is super good, and the enchantment rider on there that it can hit enchantments. Obviously in limited, that's probably not going to be a huge thing for you, but
still it gives you an out if you're playing.
Yeah.
You're playing
your creature removal is
black and red. If you're playing Rakdos,
yeah,
at least you can get rid of an enchantment should it hit.
And you shouldn't feel bad about putting it in your deck because it does hit a creature.
Somebody O-rings one of your things. Guess what?
It does hit a creature, so don't feel bad about throwing it in the deck. We also have Vanquish the Weak.
That's a reprint.
Which is a reprint. It's a
solid play.
Yeah, black and 2 instant. Destroy target creature with power 3 or less.
Only gets the little things, but that's okay.
Right.
And then I'm talking about littler things, but Subtle Strike is a black and 1. It is an instant.
Yeah.
Choose one or both. Target creature gets -1/-1 till end of turn, and or put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. So they've got a 3/3 coming at you.
Yeah.
And all you've got is a 2/2. Well, all of a sudden, it's reversed. You've got a 3/3. They've got a 2/2. Your guy lives. Theirs dies. Boom.
Right. It's not the same, but it reminds me a lot of fungal infection, where it was.
They've given us different versions over the years. It can be straight up removal. Just kill something with a 1 toughness with a -1/-1.
Yeah, I mean
that's why it's removal.
Fungal infection was awesome. I had arguments about people about how good that card wasn't limited because it put a -1/-1 to a creature, make a 1/1 sapling. I will play that every time. Yeah. That is fantastic.
I played that. Yeah, most assuredly.
The card we got at Con in black is Deadly Alliance. It's an instant for a black and 4, and it costs 1 less for each creature in your party. It says destroy target creature or planeswalker. Oh, this possibility
is good.
Of 1 black.
It is right there where we this is really costed well.
Yeah,
because this is normally black and 3 or black and 4 is where we get this ability at common at instant speed. The fact that you could cost this for for 1 black.
1 black.
Potentially.
You gotta have a full party, which is a lot of work.
Super high side.
Yeah.
But even if you're just paying 3 for it.
Right. Like I said, if you built around party and I think you can use 2 as the number, then this costs 3.
That's
3 mana. That's a murder that hits planeswalkers. I mean,
that's Hero's Downfall with 1 black.
Yeah.
So, yes.
That's good.
I think this is fine. I'm saying the best cleric that I saw was the Malakir Blood Priest. If I got that right. Black and 1, he's a 2/1 vampire cleric.
Yep.
When Malakir Blood Priest enters the battlefield, each opponent loses X life, and you gain X life, where X is the number of creatures in your party. So, worst case scenario, he's a cleric, you drain for 1.
Yeah. Not too bad.
Not too bad. I thought he was pretty good. And then best rogue.
Namana Skitter Snake. I just like that name. The Skitter Snake. I don't even need Namana on there. Skitter Snake. He's black and 3 for a 3/4 human rogue. And as long as an opponent has 8 or more cards in their graveyard, which you'll see this a lot on rogues, guys.
This is another sub-theme.
Yes. Namana Skitter Snake gets +1/+0 and has menace. 4 mana, 4/4 menace.
As long as the guy 8 cards in the yard, it's a 4/4 menace.
That for 4.
For 4.
That's
solid.
That's solid.
That's solid, and it's a rogue.
Yeah.
So, party.
Party.
Red removal. I didn't think till I got to look, and I guess red removal's okay. It's not.
Yeah,
it's not where you want it to be. I know.
No, as a person that loves red and loves the burn, they're overcosting out of us. But we'll start off here with Molten Blast. It's a red and 2 instant. You get to choose one. It deals 2 damage to target creature or planeswalker, or destroys an artifact.
It's modal, and you can hit creatures or planes. You can't hit somebody in the face with it. But
I don't want to pay 3 to do 2 to the face.
But in limited, it's fine.
Right. Now this one is a little bit better. The next one is a little better. It's Royal Eruption. It is a red and 1. Well, I said a little bit better until I say this part. Sorcery. It has a kicker of 5. Royal Eruption deals 3 damage to any target. If this spell was kicked, it deals 5 damage instead.
Mainly, you're going to do 3 damage with this thing.
I'm not paying 7 for 5 damage very often.
But
it is any target.
Late game, it could take out the big beater that's been causing you problems.
It is any target, and that helps.
And then Synchronized Spellcraft is a red and 4. It is an instant, and it deals 4 damage to target creature and X damage to that creature's controller, where X is the number of creatures in your party.
Yeah.
So this is a good one for party. So if you've got a good party, that could really do some damage.
The other good one here, this one's probably pretty good to keep an eye on, is Sizzling Barrage. It's a red and 1 instant, and it deals 4 damage to target creature that blocked this turn.
Yeah, so they just hold up and they take their 5/5 and they just play safe and block your 1/1 with it.
Yep.
Finish that bad boy off. So those are great for those kinds of things.
I want to hit this wizard here real quick. The Ardent Electromancer.
I gave him best party and best wizard.
Yeah, he's good. He's a red and 2 for a 3/2 human wizard. And when Ardent Electromancer enters the battlefield, add a red mana for each creature in your party.
You can net mana off this guy.
Yeah.
It's possible.
If you got a full party, you went up a mana. And he counts as wizard, so if you had the 3 other when you cast him, you just upped a mana.
Yeah, you got all your 3 back plus an additional. So
red, other than overcosting us on some stuff on the damage, there's creatures aren't looking bad for red here.
It's a 3/2 for 3, and that's fine. That's why I think this is good.
Right.
Best warrior. I've got Grotag Bug Catcher,
which is just fun, right?
I don't know. He seems iffy, but a red and 1. He's a 1/2 with trample. He is a goblin warrior. Whenever Grotag Bug Catcher attacks, it gets +1/+0 till end of turn for each creature in your party. So
He can.
He's a 2/2 trampler.
He's a 2/2 trampler. Yeah. When
There's
he's
lots
attacking.
of ways to give him haste. Yeah. When he's attacking.
Oh yeah. Speaking of haste, I may bring something. I may mention something if you guys are worried about haste. Tuck Rubble Fort.
We don't need that crashing drawbridge.
Right. It's a red and 2 wall. 0/3 defend. Is actually important. Creatures you control have haste. Just that simple. I probably wouldn't have mentioned it at all if it wasn't actually for reach being on there as well. That can save your life more than you know.
And then landfall in red, we're going to go with Pyroclastic Hellion. Mm-hmm. It's a red and 4. It's a 4/5. When it enters the battlefield, you may return a land you control to its owner's hand. When you do, Pyroclastic Hellion deals 2 damage to each opponent.
Each opponent. That's pretty good.
So again, what's nice about this is he's a 5-drop, and by the 5th turn, you've probably played out your lands. Buys you another land drop or another chance at a spell land.
Yep. And I just want to bring up an actual card with landfall real quick. I know in Limited, there's not as many ways to drop the extra lands, but depending, there are ways to get extra lands still. Akum Hellhound is going to be really good, guys, I think. It's 1 mana, 0/1, Elemental Dog, but it has landfall. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, Akum Hellhound gets +2/+2. That's not bad. You can attack for 2 on turn 2.
If you can build the landfall deck and you're not trying to go party because he doesn't contribute to your party.
Contribute. If you're not worried about party and you're going landfall, there's some other enablers where you can have this guy swinging in for 4 and 6. It's possible. Even in Limited, there's some ways to drop extra lands. It is Zendikar. So.
All right, so green. Well, removal's a little weak in here, as we know.
Yeah.
But Broken Wings is the best we've gotten yet. A green and 2 instant. Destroy target artifact, enchantment, or creature with flying.
Pretty good.
Not bad. And we get Rabid Bite, gets a reprint.
Always good.
Which is just a bite. It's not a fight. It's a bite.
Yep.
Green and 1, sorcery, target creature you control. Creature you don't control. So definitely play those. As far as party, to help you out your party, Adventure Awaits is a green and 1 sorcery. Look at the top 5 cards of your library. Reveal a creature card from among them and put it in your hand. Put the rest of your library in a random order. If you didn't put a card into your hand this way, draw. So if it's a swing and a miss, you still get a draw.
I mean, at 2 mana, I like the Adventurous Impulses and stuff at 1 mana, but to see a card like this, because I do play these in the kind of decks I play, that has that, if you whiff, you still get to draw a card, that's just a sigh of relief, because whiffing on something like that is one of the worst feelings out there. Strength of Solidarity is another good party card. It's a sorcery for 1 green, and you just choose target creature you control. You put a +1/+1 counter on it for each creature in your party. That seems good.
Good enabler for your party goings on.
Right.
And then landfall, there's a couple things that really kick up the landfall.
Oh, yeah. Landfall's looking pretty good.
Kazandu Stomper, green and 5. This is your big beater that you want. He's a 6/5 trampler. Now listen up. When he enters the battlefield, return up to 2 lands you control to their owner's hand.
Up to.
You don't have to return any if you don't want. But again, this guy, you're probably out of land drops. You're probably actually playing him turn 7 or 8.
Yeah.
To get a couple more landfall triggers, pretty nice. So remember that when you're building your landfall stuff.
He is good.
And then there's one more that's pretty good here.
Territorial Scythe Cat, which from what I hear, I didn't play the old Zendikars. It's a spiritual successor to some other Scythe something. I heard somebody saying. But it's a green 2 for cat. 1 trample. Landfall. When land enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on Territorial Scythe Cat.
That is a counter. It's not just till end of turn.
That's not till end of turn. That's a counter. That's good. That's real good.
So just to hit real quick on artifacts, most of these actually could see some play.
Yeah.
I was most taken with Cliffhaven Kite Sail, which is a 1 mana equipment. When it enters the battlefield, attach it to target creature you control. This is a theme in the set. Most of the equipment, not all, but most of it, self-equips.
Yeah.
And the creature has flying, and then the equip is 2. Real easy. Evasion's going to be important, so that's your way to get evasion.
Then we got Seagate Colossus. I like this guy. I think he's a good finisher for limited. If you get one of him, he's a 7-mana artifact creature golem warrior. He is a warrior. He's a 7/5 to cast for each creature in your party. That's not bad. I mean, to end a game, even if you got to pay 7 for him in a limited game, you'll do that. But you're probably going to get a discount on 1 or 2 and have a 7/5 to try to close out a game winner.
And he's a warrior.
And he's a warrior. He does count for a party slot.
Yep. And then the last one I'm going to point out is the Stonework Pack Beast. 2 mana for a 2/1. And Stonework Pack Beast is also a cleric, rogue, warrior, and wizard. And he's also a prismite.
He's a prismite, yeah.
2 mana, add 1 mana of any color. So he's going to fix your color for you, 2 into 1.
Yep.
Really, if you're playing party and you have that, you should just play it.
Yeah.
You really should.
You're making a mistake if you're not.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just
for 2 mana, he counts as anything. Yeah.
Now we're going to move on to uncommons, guys.
Yeah, we're going to hit the uncommons.
All right. In white, party, and removal, really, there you have, we have Journey to Oblivion. The art on this just weirds me out for some reason. It doesn't look like real Magic art.
It looks odd.
It's literally like
odd.
that. It's like a cartoon of somebody going through the wall. There's like a hole. I don't know. It's a white and 4, though. And it costs 1 less. It's an enchantment. It costs 1 less for each creature in your party. That's awesome. When Journey to Oblivion enters the battlefield, exile target non-land permanent opponent controls until Journey to Oblivion leaves the battlefield. It's an O-ring effect.
It is.
It's a good one.
That could cost 1 white.
Could cost 1 white.
If you're going on the cleric plan, Attended Healer, you can't beat that. A white and 3 for a 2/3. Whenever you gain life for the first time each turn, create a 1/1 white cat creature token.
Yep.
And for a white and 2, another target cleric gains lifelink till end of turn. This is where I want to be if I'm playing clerics. And I do like playing clerics. Landfall.
I want to hit this one even though you didn't put it on the list because I just can't talk about the adorable mouse. Because it's pretty good, actually, too. It's a white and 2 Arcanian Jerboa, which I had to look up Jerboas that are real, and that is what they look like almost, other than the stripes. They got giant feet. They're like kangaroo mice. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, creatures you control get +1/+1 until end of turn. And it's a 1/2. So it's a way to pump your whole team. That's good landfall. I know you had something else.
Yeah, we're almost at an hour here.
I know.
Fearless Fledgling, white and 1/1/1. Landfall. Whenever land enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on Fearless Fledgling. It gains flying till end of turn.
Seems good.
It's got evasion. It's good landfall. I like that kind of landfall.
For a kicker spell, we got Kite Sail Cleric. It's a 1 white, 1/1 core cleric.
Flying.
With flying, and it has a kicker for a white and 2. When Kite Sail Cleric enters the battlefield, if it was kicked, tap up to 2 target creatures. That's
Clear
neat.
path.
Clear a path. That is nice.
Clear a path. Spell lands.
Oh, yeah.
I had a couple of these. I guess I couldn't make up my mind.
Kabiri takedowns right there. It's a white and 1 instant, and it deals damage equal to the number of creatures you control to target creature or planeswalker. That's just good removal.
And is a land that comes into play
Yeah.
tapped. What I like about this, and most of them I tried to hit it this. If you get it early, it's not. Just go ahead and play it as a land.
Yeah.
Because you don't really need that ability.
No.
So go ahead and play it as a land if you get it early. If you get it late, probably relevant. And then Sajiri Shelter is a white and 1 instant. Target creature color of your choice until end of turn. Again, probably early, not a huge deal.
Right.
You're jockeying for board position. You can use it that way.
Right.
Or if you need the land, you just drop it as a land early.
The opportunity cost on playing some of these cards is much lower because you can't just play them as a land. So that's a huge thing. We got Concerted Defense in blue for a pretty good party card. It's a 1 blue instant. This card is just kind of bonkers to me in some ways. So 1 blue instant, counter target non-creature spell unless its controller pays 1 plus an additional 1 for each creature in your party. So at worst, it's a 4 spike for non-creature spells at worst.
Yeah.
That seems even playable.
Holding up 1 mana instead of 2 could make
a lot of difference.
Wizard. I kind of liked Wind Rider Wizard. He's a blue and 2. He's a 2/2 flyer. And whenever you cast an instant, sorcery, or wizard spell, you may draw a card if you do discard a card. So he's going to loot for you. And he's a 2/2 flyer for 3, which is pretty standard.
If he didn't cost 3 mana, he could almost go...
He's a Windrake with a lot of upside.
If he didn't cost 3 mana, he could almost go in my Wizards deck for Pioneer, but 3 mana. It's expensive.
Then we've got...
Roost of Drakes.
Roost of Drakes.
Is a 1 blue enchantment.
It's your kicker payoff card.
It's a kicker payoff card. It does have a kicker of a blue and 2. Enters the battlefield. If it was kicked, create a 2/2 blue Drake creature token with flying. But also, whenever you cast a kicked spell, create a 2/2 blue Drake creature token with flying.
Yeah, it's an enchantment, so it's easy to get down turn 1, and then when you start kicking stuff, you start getting Drakes.
Yeah.
Even if you didn't kick it.
Yeah.
And it is when you cast. If they counter, it doesn't matter. You still got your 2/2 Drake.
You kicked it. Yep.
Yep. If you're on that landfall plan, and if you're on that mill plan, if you're going to combine those two, you got to play Ruin Crab. It's a 1 blue 0/3 crab that when a land enters the battlefield under your control, each opponent mills 3. Hedron Crab got played. This is going to get played.
Oh, yeah. It's...
And if you're on that mill plan, then you probably want to be playing Lull Mage's Domination.
Isn't it weird? Just looking at that mana cost makes me think it's going to be a rare.
3 blue and X. It's a sorcery, but it costs 3 less to cast if it targets a creature whose controller has 8 or more cards in their graveyard. Then you gain control of target creature with converted mana cost X. So for 3 blue and nothing, you can gain control of a converted mana cost 3 or less.
That's
as long as they got 8 cards in the graveyard.
And if you're on the mill train, that shouldn't be too hard to get to 8, surprisingly.
And spell land.
Oh yeah, the Jwari Disruption. It's a blue 1 instant, counter target spell unless its controller pays 1. And obviously the other side's a tapped blue land.
Let's move to black.
Black, yeah, we got removal here. We got Demon's Disciple. It's a black and 2. Human Cleric. It's a 3 field. Each player sacrifices a creature or planeswalker. We've never been upset about a Plague Crafter.
Nope, we've had those before.
This one's a 3/1 too. That seems like a bigger power at least than they normally get.
Blood Chief black, it's a sorcery with kicker, black and 2. Destroy target creature or planeswalker with converted mana cost 2 or less. If this spell was kicked, instead destroy target creature or planeswalker.
Oh yeah.
So there's your removal right there.
Sorcery speed is the only thing that stops that from becoming like a staple in older formats, possibly.
If you're on the cleric plan, I'm a big fan of 2 black and 3. It's a 3/3 flying vampire cleric. Whenever you gain life, put a +1/+1 counter on Scion of the Swarm.
We also have, for rogues, we have Acquisitions. He's a black and 1, 1/2 human rogue. When Acquisitions expert enters the battlefield, target opponent reveals a number of cards from their hand equal to the number of creatures in your party. You choose one of those cards, that player discards that card.
Hey, we are getting close to opening this if you're really curious.
Yeah.
We're close.
We're close, guys. We're almost through this.
Yeah.
And then our spell land, we're going to go with Black Bloom Rogue here.
This guy's good.
Yeah. He's a black and 2, human rogue, 2/3 menace. But Black Bloom Rogue gets +3/+0 as long as an opponent has 8 or more cards in their graveyard.
Early game, you probably just want to drop it as your land.
Yep.
Again, the whole idea is if you get it in your opening hand, go ahead and drop it as that land. Don't wait until your opponent has 8 cards in the grave.
Yep.
Use that land if you need to. Later on, you're going to cast it.
And then we are on to red.
We got red and green uncommons left, and then we're going to crack this thing.
Yep. I'm going to start off here with Thundering Rebuke. For the red removal at uncommon, it's a red and 1 sorcery because apparently red can't do instants anymore. Thundering Rebuke deals 4 damage to target creature or planeswalker.
But it's 2 mana to do 4 damage.
Yeah.
That's important for removal, so we need that. Thundering Spark Mage is our party card.
Yeah.
Red and 3, 2/2. Battlefield that deals X damage to target creature or planeswalker, where X is the number of creatures in your party.
So that's a removal spell.
That's another removal, but it's also party centric.
We got the Rock Slide Sorcerer.
He's our wizard.
He's a red and 3/3/3 human wizard. But when just like the blue guy we read earlier, whenever you cast an instant, sorcery, or wizard spell, Rock Slide Sorcerer deals 1 damage to any target.
So that's your payoff for playing wizards.
Yep.
Right there. So, and in building a spell deck, spell centric. Fireblade Charger is our warrior. He's 1 red, 1/1, and as long as Fireblade Charger is equipped, it has haste.
Mm-hmm.
And then when Fireblade Charger dies, it deals damage to any target. Most of the pieces of equipment pump its power, so when it dies, it's going to do a fair amount of damage.
And they attach when they come in, so you play this guy, you play the equipment, it attaches, he swings. It's not a bad little setup.
Not bad.
Oh, and then, I love this card. Kazul's Fury. Oh, I love this card.
Yeah.
It's a fling, guys. It's a red and 2 as an additional instant. As an additional cost to cast this spell, sacrifice a creature. Kazul's Fury deals damage equal to sacrifice creature's power to any target, and it's got a tapped red land on the back. Oh my god, that's incredible. I'm not feeling bad about it.
Early turns, drop it as a land. Late turns, sack that big one to finish the game.
Uh-huh.
And then green. So on green, we're going to talk about the party mechanic. And when we're talking about party, we're going to talk about the Veteran Adventurer. Yeah, I don't know why you're hitting the screen.
I didn't mean to.
I don't know what you're doing now.
Well, just read the card.
They're all loose. It's a green.
It's a green and 3 for...
No, it's not. It's a green and 5. We'll get there eventually. The last 2 people who are watching. Somewhere. I don't know.
Veteran Adventurer for a green and 5.
It's a human 5/5. And it's also a cleric, rogue, warrior, and wizard. And this spell costs 1 less to cast for each creature in your party. So you could get him for the discounted price of 2 mana.
That's not bad. And he's got vigilance.
And it's got vigilance.
I hadn't even noticed that the first time I read that card.
Yeah, it's way down there at the bottom.
That's usually one of those things they put towards the top.
But it's pretty good. It's pretty good. If you're playing with the kicker thing, then Vine Gecko is going to be worth playing. A green and 1 2/2, so it's a bear. But the first kick spell you cast each turn costs 1 less to cast. So it's discounting your kicker.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever you cast a kick spell, put a +1/+1 counter on Vine Gecko. So it's a payoff for the kicker. I think blue and green gets the best kicker stuff.
It's an enabler and a payoff is what's fantastic.
It is.
We also, on the landfall, have Roiling Regrowth, which is a green and 2 instant. Oh, yeah, that's what this is.
It's the new hero.
It's the new hero. It's a green and 2 instant. Sacrifice a land. Search your library for up to 2 basic land cards. Put them onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle your library. The important part of why this is different is that it says sacrifice a land, period, yada yada. It doesn't say as an additional cost to cast this spell.
Well, yeah, so if it gets countered, you don't have to and the other important thing to note is that they go into the battlefield tapped.
Right.
So whereas before playing hero in your main phase didn't feel bad because you spent 3 mana and sacrificed one of them and you got 2 that were untapped.
Right.
It only costs 1 mana. This one they come in tapped, so you're going to feel better playing it on your opponent's turn. It's also going to be really nice to trigger double landfall like for a blocker to kill something and pump it up.
Also, the other important thing is if you copy this thing, I know you have to sacrifice an extra land when you copy it with Harrow. You didn't. Okay. No.
Yeah.
other way on that part. I had that part backwards.
And then for your spell land, we're going to go with Colony Ambush. It's a green and 2. Target creature you control fights target creature you don't control. Of course, it's a tapped for green mana on the other side.
It's fantastic. It is fantastic.
So we got through that review. We are going to...
We got some people coming back. They know what's they must know what's happening.
We're going to open this thing up.
Yep.
Alan's going to flip that around there.
I'm going to flip this camera down, guys. If you'll just
bear
stick
with
me for a moment.
He's got something rigged up here so that we can see what's going on.
And let me just... I got to hit the little button there.
There we go.
It's not the best setup we have right here, but it's quick and can do. So this is a secret lair drop series, it says.
Yep. So they gave this, after great deliberation, we have compiled and remastered the greatest Magic the Gathering cards of all time ever. It was an April Fool's thing. Originally, it was going to contain a Squire card.
Yeah.
But that Squire card was done by Noah Bradley. Wizards of the Coast has since
cut ties
with Noah Bradley because of some sexual improprieties that he was involved in. I don't know if it was an assault or what it was, to be honest. Oops, sorry. Try to get it back here.
I get, from what I gather, a large number of inappropriate things at cons.
Let's tilt this up a little bit.
Yeah.
So I got more room. All right. So there's not a Squire in there. So instead of having 4 cards, it only has 3. But some of you may know.
I love the box.
Some of you may know that if you went out looking and cheating, that they hit a little something extra in there.
So this is our April Fools from everybody, right, guys? So we got Stormcrow.
Stormcrow.
Awesome.
Maybe we need an episode where we talk about the importance of Stormcrow.
Yeah.
It's legendary. It's so powerful. It's a 1/2 flyer for a blue and 1. A lot of 1/1 flyers.
It does.
and you can pitch it to Force of Will. It's so strong.
Yeah, I was ready to say, I'm pretty sure that's been in a Pro Tour winning deck.
Let me see if I can figure this out here to open this up. So
there's Stormcrow, guys.
Stormcrow. Then we also get Goblin Snowman. Man, look at that carrot nose.
I know.
Check that out.
I love this. This art just makes me smile.
Red and 3, he's a 1/1.
Yeah.
He's a goblin. Whenever Goblin Snowman blocks, prevent all combat damage that would be dealt to and dealt by it this turn. Kind of like Fog Bank.
Yeah.
Tap, Goblin Snowman deals 1 damage to target creature it's blocking.
Yeah.
So, kind of weird, but some sweet art there.
It's very sweet art.
These are very powerful now.
Yeah.
And then, of course, there's Mudhole. That's a red and 2. It's an instant. It's an instant, people. You can play this during your opponent's turn. Player exiles all land cards from their graveyard. Oh my gosh, that might win you the game right out of the gate.
Right out of the gate.
So instead of the 4 cards, we only got. Oh, what's that down there?
There's something in the bottom of that box.
What is that?
What did?
Maybe I got.
Maybe they put those extra fetch lands they were talking about in there. Or what are those stained glass walkers or something?
Yeah, stained glass walker. Oh my gosh, it's boogered down,
Is
man.
it really?
Yeah. Hold on.
They made you work for it.
We're trying not to destroy it. Trying to do a big reveal here.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was going to be so.
Okay.
All right.
Da, da, da.
Yeah, this.
Da, da,
I don't. If you guys
da.
haven't seen this online, this makes me happy.
Da, da, da.
That's right. It's our friend T-Balt, the most powerful planeswalker ever at 2 mana.
The first ever 2-mana planeswalker, T-Balt the Fiend-Blooded. Legendary planeswalker. +1, draw a card, then discard a card at random. He starts with 2 loyalty, -4. T-Balt the Fiend-Blooded deals damage equal to the number of cards in target player's hand to that player. And for -6, gain control of all creatures until end of turn. Untap them, they gain haste until end of turn. Tell you what, I've used this guy a bunch. People forget about him.
Yeah, but guys, if you're not noticing what's up with why there's a T-Balt in there, you notice that border?
See that border? It's a white border.
That is a white border.
When's the last time Watsy made a white bordered card?
20 years ago.
Been a long time, right? So anyway, this hits me in a sweet spot right there. I'm going to tell you.
It's as soon as I heard about it, I was like, "Are you serious?"
So anyway, there you go. That's what we got for this week, guys. Be sure and watch next week when we hopefully have some set boosters we can crack open. And until then, be sure and come out and get your Magic and your board games and all your tabletop stuff here at Grove Gamers Guild, where everybody knows your game.